What up, party people? Another episode of FitBod Blueprint, and I'm pretty sure this is the only time in my life I've ever said party people.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Well, first and likely a last. I already feel like a jackass. How you
Speaking
doing today,
of
man?
Jackass, I'm excited for the last one to come out. I
Yeah.
remember I remember like going to theaters to watch the first one when they first came out. I've never laughed so hard like in a movie. Like my abs hurt the next day. I remember we were laughing so hard in that movie.
So I wanted to go see it, but my parents were very, very conservative.
Yeah,
So I ended up getting it. My aunt, who married into the family whenever I was like 15, it was my birthday, and she handed me the DVD. And
nice.
she was like, I know your parents have never let you watch this.
Yeah,
Don't let them find this.
that's
And I
awesome.
was like, you are instantly amazing. I love
Yeah,
you
my
so
most
very much.
favorite. Yeah,
And whenever I saw, I'm just going to say the hardware store,
yeah,
I
yeah,
had to pause it because I was like ab full cramp laugh,
yeah.
like
They're
can't breathe, turning
yeah.
red.
Their early stuff was just insane. Like, because I mean, YouTube, like, that wasn't a thing back then, right? Like, they were so ahead of just everything and like what they used to get away with, like legit pranks of like kidnapping people or like, yeah, just some of the stuff they would do is you couldn't recreate like because the
Yeah.
shock value wouldn't be there anymore.
Imagine doing the party boy on
Yeah,
someone in 2026.
that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be as funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was good stuff.
So I'm excited. Now, what's interesting is like Steve O's gotten sober,
Yeah.
and he talked about the difference of, well, the first ones, he was like, I was just high all the time. I couldn't feel anything. And then he's like, I got sober, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't do this stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like Johnny Knoxville can't do some stuff anymore because it's like another concussion will kill him, right? Like yeah, and what they used to do was pretty insane.
Man. So I'll be interested to see. Hang on, is Wee Man still alive?
Yep.
He is? Okay, cool.
It was just Ryan Dunn was the only one.
Okay. So Ryan's the only one, and then didn't didn't Bam Majera get in like a crap ton of legal trouble, or no, him and Knoxville are like completely on the
Yeah,
outside.
I know Bam is sober now, but I think like his journey to sobriety was a pretty rough one. And like
Yeah,
they're kind of all on the splits with him.
yeah. Oh man, let's see here. I'm look. Majera stated he will not film any new material. However, he gave the filmmakers consent to include him through old archive and unused footage.
Right.
He he was invited to the premiere but declined the offer. So
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Like at the end of the day, I always hope that people turn it around whenever they're struggling with any type of like
Yeah.
addiction, and it's hard as someone that I've seen addiction hit my family, um, multiple family members, and I'm like, it's real easy on the outside to be like, hey, they're acting that way because of what they're on and what they're going through, but whenever you're still on like some of the receiving end of that, it can be hard.
Yeah.
But you always just hope somebody pulls it around. So Bam getting sober, good for him. I'm happy to hear that.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, Viva La Bam was also a great show back in the day too. The little spinoff. That was always a fun one.
What was his uncle's name? The
Uh,
one he was always fucking with.
God, I want to say like Tony, but that feels like very like not racist, but
Vito.
like
Vito. Uncle
yeah,
Vito.
yeah,
Uncle
Uncle
Vito.
Vito.
Man.
That guy was a creep.
I loved like all that old like MTV VH1 stuff because that was around the time. Did I ever tell you how we got cable for the first time whenever I was
No,
growing up? Okay. So for anyone who's younger listening to this, we used to have TV with what was called antennas, and
yes,
it was like rabbit ears. Well, then eventually we got the fancy one where there was a dial that, like, I guess it changed the receiver channel or something. Whenever I was a kid, we had like four channels that would come in worth of crap.
yeah,
Like, I couldn't even get CBS, so like AFC games for football were like I
Couldn't,
would
yeah.
just be watching snow with like moving colors behind it. Well, I got tired of this whenever I was 16. So I saw an offer on the TV for Dish Network. At 16, I called and they're like, is somebody over the age of 18 going to be home for the install? Well, my dad worked from home out of the shop in the back, but he was always on machines and it was loud and he kept the garage doors closed. So I was like, yeah, someone over the age of 18 will be home, but can you make sure that the guy is there after 3 p.m.? So I hauled ass home.
Nice.
Get there. The guy's like, hey, I thought someone over the age of 18 would be here. And I was like, I am 18. Let's get to installing.
Yeah.
The only reason why I knew I would get away with it was because I had wrote a check for 1 year of full service. And I
Hmm.
knew I'm going to get everybody else in on this first.
Yeah.
Plus, they were offering 4 receivers.
Yeah.
That covered my room, the living room, my parents' room, and even my sister's room.
Nice.
So I was like, everyone's getting it. I'm
Yeah.
paying for it.
Yeah.
My dad walks in as the guy is like leaving, packing up his crap. And my dad's like, what the hell is this? I was like, look, I paid for it for a full year. I'm
That's
tired of
amazing.
not being able to watch Monday Night Raw. I want to watch wrestling on Mondays.
That's
I've paid
amazing.
for it for everyone. Everyone has it. And then as soon as I turn it on, the very first show that was on was Viva La Bam.
Yeah. That's
And I'm
awesome.
like, yes, this is amazing. Like watching that, what was it, Andy Milanakis show? Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. I never watched that one, but yeah, I remember that.
Man, so oh man, I'm taking a trip down memory
Yeah.
lane. But also, real quick, Scary Movie. They've got another one that's in theaters now.
Yeah. Is it 8?
I think
Something
this is
like
also
that.
supposed to be the last one or something.
Yeah. It's always supposed to be the last one. Then they realize they can make a few extra million. Like, we'll make another. Why not?
Yeah, it's sequel slop. The only victim is the people watching the crap.
Yeah.
That's how all these producers act. Like, we'll put it out there and just call it whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Frozen 12. You
Yeah.
know,
Go watch
Anna.
it.
Yeah, Frozen 12. Hey, Elsa has to get custom orthotics for her feet.
But yeah.
So today we wanted to do something just kind of a little fun. How to build your perfect 3 day split. And for a lot of people, especially over summer, you know, as we start getting busier with life and we've got kids or we've got promotions and you know, we start shifting away from that like kind of traditional bro of 5 days a week in the gym. 3 days a week is a really good spot for most people. And it's doable on your calendar, especially if you design it right. Even if you say, well, hey, I can't train like every other day. I've got to do 2 on the weekends.
Yeah.
Cool. Upper, lower, and then 1 day during the week, hit a full body. So I say the best way to design it is first starting with your actual schedule
Yeah.
to know, are we doing 3 full bodies? Are we doing push pull legs? Are we doing, like, hey, back to back, like I said, an upper day, a lower day, and then a couple of days later hit a full body? That's always where I like to start with this. What about you?
Yeah. Same. Like, I think I'll usually always gravitate toward like a push pull legs.
Hmm.
And then, typically the way I'll design it for the most part is even on the push day, I'll have like one pull, right? Just for like a little extra volume. And then and I'll superset it, right? So it shouldn't really take a whole lot of extra time. And, maybe it's 2 sets of chin ups, right? And just like doing like an AMRAP or something like that. And then obviously then on the push or on the pull day, I'll have like one push exercise. Maybe it's push ups or, something like that. Then I'll usually put in like a compound pull on the pull day. So either like it's usually a hip hinge, so either a deadlift or a Romanian deadlift. But yeah, usually it will depend on the client's schedule, but I find kind of that works pretty well in just distributing volume, intensity, and recovery.
So I'm glad you brought up the Romanian deadlift. So one of my clients that we meet every other week, he asked me today, why do they call it a Romanian deadlift? And I'm like, you know what? To be perfectly honest, I have no freaking clue.
Yeah.
So I looked
So,
it up.
yeah.
It is named after Nicu Vlad, Olympic weightlifter from Romania.
Surprise.
So he was. It said, during a weightlifting clinic in San Francisco, U.S. coaches and lifters watched Vlad perform a unique hip hinge movement to strengthen his back and hamstrings. When asked what the exercise was called, he shrugged, saying, "Doesn't have a name."
That's awesome. I love
And
that.
then he asked, Matthew asked, where does Bulgarian split squat come? Like,
Yeah.
what's that origin? So we looked it up. In the 80s, the Bulgarian Olympic weightlifting team, that was what they used for power and explosivity in their training. Other countries observed it, and thus they started just calling it a Bulgarian split squat rather than the traditional original name of a rear foot elevated split squat.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't think people realize how much of our training comes out of, the Eastern Bloc, right? Like Russia was huge, right? So
Germany.
Soviet Union, yeah. So yeah, a lot of our stuff comes from those guys.
Yeah, like the Soviets and like Germany after World War II, like they were both very big on like Olympic weightlifting was their sport, like show strength, all that stuff. Boy, I mean, like German volume training, for example. And this is also, so this does tie in with today's topic. Look, sometimes you don't have a whole lot of time, and a full day of just German volume training where it's okay, every minute on the minute, you're doing one exercise, you're trying to get 10 reps, and then you're
10
doing it
sets.
again, 10 sets of 10,
Yeah,
and that's it. Like I wouldn't go picking that. Like I wouldn't go picking that as like the most. Set up a barbell in my garage with some weights. Cool. Hit a deadlift. Like you're going to work almost every major muscle group in the body. It's effective. It's super time sensitive. Like you're going to get it in and out in under 25 minutes. Boom, bam. So whenever we're designing a 3-day split, likewise, I like to naturally go towards push pull legs, and I love including some antagonizing muscles in there because it also helps out with like your range of motion. Like one of the ways that I warm up for my bench press is by doing some cable rows. Just gets my elbows and everything moving in the right plane, gets some blood flow, gets joints feeling good. So I love including some antagonizing training in there, but like RPE 6. Like we're not
yeah,
going high intensity, it's just
yeah.
movement.
Warm up.
So with that in mind, I think the next consideration, not constraint, comes to what is your overall goal for training, for
Yeah,
lifting? Is it general health, general strength? Is it something sport specific? Because I've had guys before where, hey, we're doing powerlifting. 3 days a week on a powerlifting schedule is damn near perfect.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm gonna always then focus on compound movements. Like I'm always gonna try and aim for, for the big muscle parts, at least 9 sets, right? And then there's always going to be, we've talked before, like a flat press, a horizontal row, vertical put, like a vertical press, vertical pull, hip hinge, and then like a full knee flexion. So leg press, hack squat, squat, something like that. That's
Mhm.
always going to be the priority, right? And if like that's all we have time for, then that's all we have time for. But you're just gonna get the most bang for your buck out of those things, just due to the nature of like like a deadlift or like a squat. Like, yeah, there are mainly a few, primary movers, but you're still hitting almost like a full body with like a deadlift, right? So, that's always gonna fill in the main gaps. And then from there, it's yeah, okay, then what is the goal? General health, etc. And then we'll kind of fill in the rest of the gaps with kind of like specific movements like that. And then as we move down that priority list, like obviously then arms tends to take the biggest hit, but then I'll utilize something like drop sets, right? So if we're just doing one bicep curl, then it's going to be probably 3 working sets with a triple drop set. And then still on your pull day with kind of, half sets with all the pulling, well, you're still probably hitting 9 total sets in that week, right? And so it's still trying to make sure you're getting in enough of the volume and the intensity, but cutting down on the time.
Yeah. And that's another really good consideration is how do we train effectively in the time that we have. So I love doing drop sets as intensifiers. I specifically love them for smaller muscle groups. I don't really like the idea of doing drop sets on like a deadlift.
No, that's something I'd recommend.
No, like and the reason before anyone's like, oh, well, I feel like the dummy for not knowing the answer. The reason being like, hey, it's a big compound movement. You've likely just pushed your muscles very hard, and now you're going to keep performing additional reps at lighter weight. You're going to like you see the videos of people they do a heavy deadlift set or they get done doing a high rep set, and whenever they stand up, they just fall back full
Yeah,
timber effect.
yeah,
It's a movement that it's very taxing. It's very taxing on your central nervous system. I don't want anyone potentially getting lightheaded. Like I really don't like doing back squats either.
yeah,
I don't mind someone doing a drop set with like a split squat of some kind, whether it's traditional both feet on the ground or rear foot elevated or Bulgarian, okay, as we now know. I don't mind that because the way to structure that for a drop safely is just remove the
yeah,
dumbbell.
yeah, yeah. Or yeah, like I'll even utilize like compound sets. So like maybe like a cable fly right into a set of push-ups to failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like again, cutting down the time, but having a really effective exercise where like we're getting deep into the muscle fibers, right? Like kind of that size principle of like the more fatigued the muscle gets, the larger fiber muscles are being recruited. And so like, if we're aiming, let's say for 9 sets or maybe even 10, like your compound press could be 4 sets and maybe that's a little bit more strength based, right? 8 reps and under. And then you can go straight into like a cable fly with push-ups. And I mean, 15 minutes maybe, right? Like right there. And you've got like your 9, 10 sets. Plus you've got like that high intense workout where like you're going to get all the benefits. And then if we add maybe one push to your pull day and whatever it might be, maybe it's like again 3 sets of a heavy dumbbell incline. Okay, well now we've kind of topped it up at like 12 to 15 sets for the week and you've maybe spent 30 minutes doing chest work, right? So like you kind of start to break it down like that and you go, okay, like I can actually get quite a bit done in a short amount of time.
Yeah. So let's actually build this like let's actually build out a 3 day plan. Now again, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You could do all full body, you could do all, hey, upper, lower, and then one full body, you could do push pull legs. If you had to ask me what is the most ideal, push pull legs. So let's design that. Let's do two different options, right? So the two scenarios that I run into this the most with for busy parents especially, either hey, I've got a gym membership, which pretty straightforward to design, or the nice thing with the adjustable dumbbells that have come onto the home gym market is that there's more and more options for compact and really good high quality that have come out in the last like 2 3 years. I have the Snowed adjustable dumbbells that it's a dial that you turn
It's
at the
nice.
very end,
Yeah.
and they go from 10 to 20 to 30 all the way up to 80 pounds. Plus, they have add on magnets that are 1.25 pounds each. So that's how you can get the in betweens. Like, it's kind of nice. I can get 12 and a half pounds. I can
Yeah.
get 15 pounds. I can
That's
get
nice.
17 and a half pounds. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty nice to be able to go in between like this.
Yeah.
So the most common setup that I hear from people in the last couple of years is, well, hey, I've got some adjustable dumbbells at home and I have a bench. Let's just work with that because,
Yeah.
of course, we could then start requesting, well, you know, add in bands, add in this, but
Yeah.
let's just talk. Yeah, let's just talk dumbbells, right? So let's build it out. So we'll build out a push example.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
dumbbells only push. What's your immediate have this in here?
I mean, either a flat or an incline chest press.
Yeah.
That's, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I'll start there.
Yeah. So I like doing both just for hitting the pec from multiple different angles. So I would honestly go depending on the person's like shoulder injury health history, like their elbows. Like
Yeah.
I like a super low incline
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
over a flat for
Yeah.
most people. So I'd say like, hey, if you're listening to this and you're going, hey, just design me a program while I'm listening to your podcast. Cool. As low of an incline as you can get,
Yeah.
there's your price.
Yeah.
Second tier would be put that incline up just a little bit more and press from there because now you're also getting some anterior delt recruitment.
Yeah.
So
30
we're getting,
degrees. Yeah. 30 degrees is kind of what I recommend.
yeah. So did you see? I bought it's a 3-in-1 press machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that they have the actual degrees marked off. And for something like that to be on the home gym market is amazing because it shows, hey, you've got 30 degrees, you've got 45, 60, like 75, full 90. But anyways, low incline, slightly more higher incline. And for me, I'm going with two press motions. Like I like that. And then I would say the next thing to work in because we're thinking of it's a push day has to be a shoulder press.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do, yeah, either like a standing or seated overhead press.
I do. What are your thoughts on push press?
I really like them. I mean, I personally, I don't like dumbbell pressing because I feel like you do cap out at a certain point, right?
One
And
arm's
it's
going to fail before the other.
exactly. And so you can only get so much out of it, right? I like the push press just because I think you can push past a little bit more of a sticking point. And to me, a shoulder press is more about the eccentric. I mean, everything's about the eccentric, but like because it's such a small muscle group, I don't want to be worried about the push up. And if I'm limited there, I'm going to use a little bit of that extra momentum so I can then overload a bit more eccentrically and have that more control there where I'm going to get most of the benefit. So like I'll usually always program a push press instead of just a strict overhead press.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I am. That was one thing that I picked up from Dr. Joe's programming was the inclusion of push press. Like I noticed better explosivity, I noticed better strength, I noticed
Yeah.
that I also recovered better from it, and I'm not gonna say I was like pushing him, challenging him, but I was very much like, why? Because everything in my history had
Yeah.
always been like, no, strict form, military press, you
Yeah.
move your head around bar, like that was it. So whenever was like, well, hey, here's the benefits, because I was that's like that's one of the things I love about Dr. Joe is like he explains it to you. So I've started including that more. I know you've worked with him for years now.
Yeah.
I was curious if that was something else that you'd picked up from his tree.
Yep, that is something I picked up from him for sure. Because like anytime I have like an overhead pressing movement from him, it's always a push press. Like I've never done like a strict overhead press with him. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah, again, more a little more bang for your buck, getting that little bit of momentum.
All
But
right. So short.
you have to be conscious of really then controlling that eccentric, right? And bringing it down. Like if you're gonna use that, like you have to make sure that you're really focusing on that.
Yeah. So let's assume that somebody's a beginner or they've not gotten into this in a
Yeah.
while. Look, if we're doing, I'm going to always recommend as like a good mix of both. You're getting some strength, you're getting some hypertrophy, you're getting a little bit of like push the endurance. I'm going to recommend a broad rep range. I'm going to say, hey, 3 sets, 8 to 12.
Yeah.
Like, look, this is 9 total sets that you've done for the day. If we add anything else on here, keeping in mind beginner, assuming you're doing like a minute and a half of rest between sets. And if you're like, that's way too long, I'm ready to go in 30 seconds, increase the weight,
Yeah.
push harder, because that means you're strong, which is a good thing, but you're not pushing hard enough, which isn't a good thing. If we're adding one more thing onto this, where are you going?
I'll probably, I mean, I'd either go like a lateral raise, or I'm then just doing like a tricep for the push. Then, like, if we have to choose one or the other, I mean, ideally I'd add in both, but then I'm going tricep just because we haven't hit that directly yet, and I'm probably gonna do like an overhead of some kind, as long as someone elbows is, they're friendly. I'm going to do something along those lines, like a dumbbell skull crusher or like an overhead tricep extension, something along those lines. If we're just doing strictly dumbbells, you can't really do a push down, right? Like,
Right. Like, because I don't like dumbbell kickbacks. There's just so much dead range of motion in there
yeah,
where there's no real resistance. If I had to pick, like somebody's like, I don't have time to do both, because I'm right there with you on the lateral raise. And one of the best kind of hacks to improve your physique is train shoulders more. It will make your upper body look wider, which will naturally make your waist look smaller. That's one of the best ways to look more athletic, is to just bomb the hell out of your shoulders.
yeah,
I would pick the lateral raise, but I would probably change the incline bench press that we were doing. So not the low incline, but the regular like 45-degree incline. I would honestly change that into a coffin press, because now it is going to target the triceps just a little bit more, because you're bringing your hands closer together. You're going to get some press out of the tricep. You're going to be able to fully flex the triceps at the top of that movement. You're still hitting some chest. That's like a good middle ground. So we got day one built. I want to be mindful of time here. Day two, pull. If we're working with dumbbells, I got to be honest. There's not a whole lot that we can do. We can, I would say, like my number one thing would be some type of a dumbbell deadlift.
hmm
Probably going to go Romanian though,
yeah,
because a traditional deadlift, just getting that low to the ground, you're already making the movement more challenging than a barbell. You're
yeah,
also putting your spine likely into some type of hyperflexion. You're going to over rotate your shoulders. It's You can't really get your chest up
yeah,
once you're that low to be able to get them. So I'm going to go with the Romanian
yeah.
deadlift
I'm,
as mine.
I'm the same.
Okay. So we got the RDL. And I think next for me, this one ends up coming in with two variants, kind of like the chest press, rows. I love just a traditional bent over, strict form dumbbell row, both arms at the same time. I think some people call it a suitcase row. And I also like setting the incline on the bench to get that full stretch.
Yeah,
I I love those. That is my go-to.
yeah. I'll do that, or like a single arm dumbbell row.
Yeah. And some people might ask, well, hey, if I'm already doing a dumbbell row, why also do a single arm? Well, because now you're getting good isolation. You can also change up the angle. Think row to your pocket. Like if that dumbbell was an apple and you were trying to put it in your pocket while you're bent over, follow that motion and you'll feel that lower lat
Yeah,
almost better than anything else.
yeah. Just think of like your hand is just there to hold the weight, and I tell people, think about driving the elbow up. Like the movement should just kind of start with the elbow.
And then very last thing on a pool day, you got to get curls for the girls, baby.
Yeah. Or I was even thinking like a dumbbell pullover too.
You know, I have a bit of a love hate with those
Yeah.
personally. Like,
Yeah.
if again, it goes back to the individual. Hey, if you've got healthy shoulders, go for it. If you have any type of shoulder impingement or injury, then probably not. And then some people also argue like, well, it's a chest exercise, like a little bit,
But no,
but
not
but
really.
no, like yeah, you get some at the very very top. Like you can feel that pec
Yeah.
engage if you're really
But
feeling for it. But
I mean, the whole like lats, like the lat movement is this, right? Like that's its primary movement, is up and above the head. So yeah, maybe a little bit, but yeah, that would be, yeah, that or the bicep curl.
all right, so next, a leg day with dumbbells, and there is so much you can do. I like leading off with just kind of a traditional, nothing like a good old goblet squat.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, it
flex them
depends
arms.
on, yeah, it depends on the strength of the person, right? I mean, 80-pound dumbbell, like if that's what you have, like if you're kind of relatively strong, you're going to have to, I think, go pretty high rep to get something out of it. So like you could always, if you are someone who is a little bit stronger, I would almost like, pre-exhaust where like, let's start off with like a walking lunge or a Bulgarian or something like that, and then or this could be a great spot for like a compound set where it's like, okay, I'm gonna do a walking lunge right into like a goblet squat. But yeah, it would be like one of those two depending on the training level of the person.
I if we're just talking about someone who is a little more
Then
trained,
goblet squat first.
yeah,
Oh, you
like
non-trained, yeah.
yeah, do the lunge first, do the split squat, do the variant, and then yep, superset it together. Because if I again me with the 80-pound dumbbell, I'm gonna be there a while.
Yeah.
But if I'm thinking about someone like, my wife's really getting into consistent training again for, for being on summer break. Yeah, like a goblet squat for her with, 30, 40 pounds on the dumbbell, that's
Yeah.
pushing it.
Yeah. Or you
You
could
know,
even like dumbbells up on the shoulder and almost like front squat it.
yeah, that's another really, really good one. So let's build the rest of this out with me, the next thing I think of is a glute bridge
Yep.
with the dumbbell. I really like this one. And again, if you're someone who's like, well, hey, I'm a little more advanced, but I just don't have a lot of equipment at home or I don't have a lot of weight, take your bench. You're going to lay on the floor, put one foot on that bench. You're now having an elevated glute bridge. You get way more range of motion out of it. And you're still just focusing on controlling that dumbbell, keeping it over your hips. You'll feel the full extension. You'll feel that glute round out. That is one of my sleeper moves, as I
Yeah.
call it.
Nice. And then if you wanted to hit hamstrings again, I would do a single leg Romanian, but then set up the bench where you're using it as balance help. So you're going to turn it into more of like, because that's just such a big hindering factor for a lot of people is the balance. And so set up like a bench at an incline and then use that for your balance. And then you're going to be able to load like that hamstring a bit more. That's maybe a little repetitive, but you are still changing it up a little bit and you're loading them isometrically and like you're still going to get some benefit out of that.
For sure. So now let's go to the other person listening to this that says, well, hey, I've got a gym membership. I can get there 3 days a week. We're going to assume a standard gym, not a CrossFit gym, not a powerlifting gym, not a Holy gym, just standard Crunch,
Yeah.
Anytime Fitness, Planet Fitness, etc. So same thing. Push day first.
Yeah.
We're going. I'm going to put someone on a machine.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a whole lot to what we had other than like adding in a machine, right? Like so you can do pull downs now, right? Like so I would probably
Okay.
swap that out, right? I would do like a barbell Romanian deadlift or a leg press or like a barbell back squat or like then like a laying or seated hamstring curl. Like those would be kind of the bigger changes where now you can just utilize a little bit more, but like I would still have like a dumbbell press or an incline, and then usually I like having a fly
That
instead
was
of
going to be my switch
yeah,
out. Is
yeah,
is doing like either a pec deck machine, so doing like a machine fly or doing a cable fly.
yeah. And if I'm flat pressing, I'm doing in some type of incline fly, or vice versa. If I'm doing an incline press, it's going to be some type of flat.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I really recommend is if we're at a gym, go with the incline press because you can do the flat fly either with like cables and you just want them set at like roughly elbow height,
Yeah,
get you where you want to be, or you can do the pack deck machine and that's just pull the pin, adjust your seat height. So I'm gonna say if it's me just designing this for someone off the street, haven't trained in a while, I'm gonna go with machine fly,
yeah,
and I'm gonna go incline chest press, machine fly. Probably gonna recommend a shoulder press machine just for the sake of saving time,
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's my other thing is machines will save you time, especially starting out and then you're busy. So I'm gonna go shoulder press machine so that we have time to hit a tricep press down. And then the day two pull, I think we're gonna just both agree row or lat pull down. Which one do you put first? Because we're putting the other one second.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go lat just because that's I mean a pull down I mean because you are then hitting the lats more than like a row, right? Like you're gonna add some thickness to the back with a row, but like if you really kind of want to start building out more of that X frame, if you will, like honestly, like my ranking is a narrow or a neutral grip, underhand grip, wide grip. Like that's kind of my preference. Mainly, I don't like wide grip pull downs. I suck at them,
I
and
yeah.
I love the underhand because it's almost like a chin up, right? But neutral is my favorite because I feel like you get the most range of motion.
Mhm. So if and I think this is really the biggest difference from like someone who's going to a gym versus someone who just has dumbbells at home. I'm going to move the deadlift over to the leg day. That's like me personally because I would rather the pull day at the gym be a little more focused on the
Yeah,
back because whenever
yeah,
you improve your back, you're improving your posture, you get through life just a little bit better. So I'm gonna go lat pull down, cable row. I like a medium grip on the cable row rather than a wide or a narrow. I like something where it's like this is pretty neutral. This feels very natural. My other one on this day is going to be a true cable lat pullover. I
yeah,
love those. You
yeah.
can hit them very well.
That or I like again depending on like some chin ups or a pull up like on the
That was
machine.
going to be my other thing is
Yeah,
if you have the assist machine, the assisted chin ups, especially for a beginner, very good. You can start progressively overloading that by using less and less assistance. And to me, there's no better mark for strength. There are a few better marks for strength than can you do a chin up. The last thing for me is going to be some type of a curl.
yeah.
So
And personally, I'm still leaving the Romanian deadlift on the pull day because I want my first movement on the leg day to be like an intense like leg press squat, something like that. So I want to keep the fatigue factor in mind and then the spinal compression as well. Where like I've had it where I've had to do heavy squats and heavy Romanian deadlifts back to back. Even for someone as advanced as it's not fun. It's hard, right? And like I take a certain sadistic pride in still doing that, right? And being able to like, okay, I just squatted 315 and now I'm going to go Romanian deadlift 315 back to back. Like, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. But for the most part, like I'm trying to keep those separate as my main compound movements for the week.
yeah, no, and I totally get that. It's a good shout. For me, I think it's just I try to keep the legs as
Legs.
legs by
Yeah.
most defaults, but I like this right here, man. And then lastly, design a leg day, right?
Yeah.
So obviously Tyler's not going to include a deadlift variant. I like to include either like a Romanian or a stiff leg
Might do like a
deadlift.
dumbbell.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
hey, it's dumbbell. We're not doing barbell. We're going to go a little more of like that medium rep range instead of heavier and lower rep range.
But then, I mean, machine again, like a laying hamstring curl, something like that will always be included. Still a single leg something. Um,
I'm going to
hip,
lead off with like leg press
yeah,
just to hit everything.
yeah.
And then I'm going to go into like extension because nice easy machine.
And you can get, I mean, that's such a high quality machine to use. Like you can get so much out of it.
Yeah. So if I'm designing that gym, like, hey, you're listening to this, you just want a free workout program out of listening to this podcast. Hey, my recommendation for leg day: leg press, leg extension, move on to posterior chain, Romanian deadlift, leg curl. Boom. We're good. You've hit everything. You've hit hamstring. You've hit glutes. You've hit quads. My.
Yeah, we're
So
good.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a graphic to post over on the Fitbod Institute Instagram page. So if you're interested in grabbing this, head over there, Instagram.com, search Fitbod Institute, and you can grab both of these programs for free 99.
Nice.
All right, we got to be wrapping this one up. Thank you all for listening. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, recommend us to your friends. Tell people we're amazing. Phil is so bald. Tyler is so handsome. Like, give us some love, okay, people? Until next time, see
See
you
ya.
guys.